top 3 ways to acquire customers for local businesses. Extremely easy. And by the way, if you're not a business owner, it also works for you, just tweaking a little bit the strategy. Now, let's go ahead and let me show you what it is all about. Number 1, Facebook and YouTube ads. Classic, it always works. And for a simple reason, it's extremely simple for local businesses. Because if I do this with just a little, side note, when you do this for like e-commerce websites, for example, you have to stay into certain customers, into certain numbers. It gets really techy and really complicated really fast. Now, when you look at local businesses, this is the easiest form of advertising you can ever do. You basically just be like, okay, this is the area I want to target, some broad interest. Let's say you're a beauty salon. You just put beauty and that's it. No more targeting is required, like maybe like women or men and the age, and that's it. That's it. And that's the only thing that you guys have to do. You don't have to go into some crazy separations, like strategy. Like, it's just the only thing you guys should do. Just run some targetings in that way, really broad, and have a good offer. The most important part, remember, is having a good offer. And I'm going to talk about that further in today's episode. Let me tell you what it is. But first, number 2, local YouTube domination. That's one strategy I really like a lot because it doesn't require you to pay anything. Because ads are extremely good, but hey, you got to pay for them. But what is even better than paid traffic is free traffic. So let me tell you what is local YouTube domination. Let's say you're a plumber, and one of the things that people look at to see, okay, like what should I do? And they go on YouTube, they go on Google, especially because, hey, for those who don't know, YouTube is owned by Google, meaning that people, when they are looking for something on Google, like how to change my pipes, I don't know, I'm not good into plumbing, but how to change my pipes, okay? Some results that also are on YouTube, videos on YouTube are going to show up in those results. And that can be extremely interesting. Here is why. Let's say that you are a plumber in Calgary, for example, and one of the things that you can do is, hey, how to change pipes if you're in Calgary, or at least have a way to target that specific area you're in. And what it's going to do then is that because you are searching a specific area and you're local, well, you've got that trust that people, hey, know you. Oh, this is John, the plumber from Calgary. Okay, great. Here's a video that he made, and it's made specifically for them. So they feel like, oh, cool. He made this specifically for us. That's pretty great. And also it helps you to have an extremely high ranking with that video because nobody is doing that. And what happens then? When everybody is looking up for how to change my pipe and they are in the area of Calgary, then you show up first instead of the big, firm of plumbers that you're competing with, because you're dominating this area, and you have the advantage because you're in the area, they believe you, and trust you. So that's an extremely interesting strategy to use, and I really like this one. Now, let's go into the number 3, which is also a free one, because I like to share you the free stuff, the free good stuff. Local Facebook groups. I don't know if this is the same thing in the US, but in France, and I think it's pretty much the same thing in any cities, to be honest, but I don't know, French people may be just strange and we are the only guys that are doing this, but we have groups for people that are living in the same place as I am. For example, I'm in a small village named Villeverac, and in this place, we have only 6,000 inhabitants. That's not a lot. Yes, France is pretty rural, guys. We still have internet and we know how to talk. We know what PC is and Google, yeah, but, it's pretty small. And one of the things that I see is that most of the villages and the cities around us have Facebook groups of people that, are in the same, are from this village or this city. And what if there was a guy that was the guy or the girl of solving this problem? Let's take a plumber, for example, again. Like, if you are present and you are sharing, like, hey, like, guys, I know that, and where you can be really smart with this because you can talk about specific things that only the people in the cities will understand. For example, let's say you're in Calgary in Canada, if I'm good at geography, but there is a lot of snow, for example. It's snow season. And because you're a plumber, you see that there are a lot of problems with pipes because, you know, they froze up and gives a lot of problems. It can be in the Facebook group, and that's also another great idea to make a video. Going back into the next one, but you can make like you can just link the video that you did for YouTube strategy local domination, and you can be like, hey, I think the pipes that froze. Here is how to do, and not call up a plumber, so you can actually get those pipes working, and you can actually go to the toilet because, you know, it's pretty important. And then people are going to be seeing you as the guy to solve the problem. And who do you think they're going to call when they have a problem with their pipes? Or even if like they see the video is pretty cool, but they don't want to do it, or they struggle to do it, who do you think they're going to call? They're going to call you, John the plumber. So make sure that you use those things and that you leverage them. And being local is extremely important because you have the advantage of trust and a lot of advantage of the context that the city and the people only that are in the city will understand. For example, if like the city has a lot of bad traffic, and maybe do a joke about it because people are going to relate, and then they'll be like, oh, I like this guy, like he feels me, he feels like something that if he understands me because he's in the same city, you know, we share the same values. So play on that, use this because it's an extremely great factor that big companies and your competitors are not using to differentiate yourself and to connect with your customers. Extremely important. Now, bonus tip, because I like to give you some bonuses. The offer is the key. The only thing that is preventing you to get to the next level, to get your business to the next level, is the offer. The offer is the first part of the transaction. That's the most important part. How important is it, Gabriel? Well, let me tell you something. One of the biggest, best offer that was ever ran was the Domino ad. The Domino offer, Domino campaign, however you want to call it. I think you guys know about it. It's so famous. Hey, if your pizza doesn't show up in 30 minutes, you get it for free. Oh, one of the best offers ever made. And now they just grabbed the marketplace. They dominated the whole marketplace because of this and because they were willing to do something like that. Now, one of the things that you guys need to understand is that if your offer is so crazy good that people cannot resist, they cannot say no to it, you have a lot less work to do when you're selling. You get much more conversions when you are using pay Facebook ads like YouTube and Google and all those things like this, the fancy stuff. Well, you got to make sure that when you invest some money into that, it's working and it's giving you the best results possible, you know. And it's also the same thing when people are comparing yourself to and that's one of the things that I love the most. If people are comparing yourself to the other cheaper alternative, that's one thing I hear a lot. Yeah, but I'm losing some business towards the cheaper alternative because you're comparable. Because people can actually compare you to the cheaper alternative. Oh, that's bad. You don't want to have this. And if you create an amazing offer that is like beyond, like miles, light years away from what your competitor is actually proposing, now all of a sudden you're not being able to be compared with the competition. You are selling in a market of one. And now you basically have the freedom of truly putting a number on what is the value that you are delivering. And they cannot compare your price because your thing is so different. It's basically not the same thing at all. So keep that in mind. The offer is key. It's the first part and the first thing you need to be working on.